Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having an awesome and great Tuesday morning thus far. The time now is 9 o'clock, and as it stands, it's just only me, your favorite nerdy educator. Hopefully, I'll have some students that will come in and join me, but I am going to go ahead and get started because I want to be respectful of the time, as I stated in my virtual announcements video from yesterday. So, first things first. Please make sure that if you are coming in right now, just know that this um, lesson is being recorded. So please make sure that your cameras are off and your audio is working properly. If you are watching this playback, make sure that you are paying attention and make sure that you are, just being in a place, willingness to receive what is going on. And I do have a student that is in. I do not know who it is though. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this Brittany?
Ha.
Oh, hi, Miss Ha. I'm sorry. I cannot see you because my screen share is a little different now. So I'm going to ask if you could please put your camera off, but keep your audio. Well, actually, let me stop the screen share for a moment. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Ha. I really do appreciate you coming in and joining me. If you can, which I believe that you can also go ahead and put yourself on mute so that way we can, just cancel out any background noise.
Okay.
Again, thank you so much for joining me, Ms. Ha. You're my first student this morning. Yay. But I am still going to go ahead and just get started simply because this class is only for an hour and I do not want to prolong, any more time. But again, thank you so much for coming. And I really do appreciate you. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the present now and I'm going to share the screen. Okay. And I am going to go here. Okay. So Ms. Ha, very quickly, um, can you see the screen? I, for the sake of continuity, I hope you all can see the screen. All right. So, as always, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, if anybody is watching this playback, this is our first official day using Google Meets as the new virtual platform. And as you know, we have to work out those kinks and work out those different, you know, um, technical difficulties, if you will. So, again, thank you so much for your patience and thank you so much for joining us this morning. I really do appreciate it. Now, I am going to go ahead and get started with reviewing inferences. So, remember, I want to make sure that we understand what an inference is. So, this was just a couple of worksheets that I did. Remember, this is a previous lesson that I've already done, and I just added a couple of new slides to this presentation. But inferences is simply when you make a conclusion or you're drawing a conclusion based on what you have been presented and what you already know about the particular topic. Okay, so inferences is a great way to to get a story across or to get your point across and to make sure that you are understanding the importance of inferences and how they work. Now, inferences can be applied to social studies. We talked about inferences with social studies on last week. If you missed that particular virtual class, it is on the playback. So please make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and that you look at the video playbacks. Okay, those are very important. Now, also, with that being said, we are going to kind of go away from the social studies for a moment and jump into a little bit of science. So, when we deal with science as it relates to inferences, what we want to do is kind of turn into a scientist, if you will. So what I want to talk about today, I want to discuss, and I know that's way too big. Okay. So I want to discuss the difference between an observation and an inference. The question you have to ask yourself is there a difference between observation and inference? Okay. And are the two concepts related to each other, or are they mutually exclusive to one another? Now, this is a new term that some of you all may not know what mutually exclusive means. So, in the event that whenever I introduce things, to my students and they're like, "What, Miss Hampton? I don't know what that is," or "I've never seen it before." Here's a definition of mutually exclusive. Okay, and hopefully you can see that. But mutually exclusive is a statistical term describing two or more events that cannot coincide. It is commonly used to describe a situation where the occurrence of one outcome supersedes the other. So, in essence, they don't go together, they're separate from each other. Okay. So if you've ever had a conversation with someone and then they bring in another topic and both of those topics have absolutely nothing to do with each other, and of course you ask the question, well, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Or what does that have to do with anything? What you're saying is those two concepts are mutually exclusive and they do not go together. They're disjointed, okay? Excuse me for a moment. Okay? So, when I say mutually exclusive, I am simply asking, are the two concepts with observation and inferences, do they go together or do they not go together? That's really what I'm asking. Okay, so we're going to take a look inside and dig a little deeper as it relates to how to apply inferences in science. Now, remember, you can apply anything to all four subjects as it relates to the GED program, or even just in life beyond the GED. Okay. And of course, my job as an educator, your favorite nerdy educator, is to simply make it make sense. Okay. So, with all of that being said, we are going to go ahead and go to the next slide. Hopefully, you all have had an opportunity to think about the difference between, if is there a difference between observation and inference. Now, I'm going to make this a little bigger, so hopefully everyone can see it. Okay, just to make sure everyone sees it. Now, the question says, how do scientists use inferences? All right. So, scientists make observations using the five senses. So, to answer that question, observations and inferences, they do go together. So, that would actually be called mutual. Okay. That's what that's called, mutually inclusive. And I believe I have someone else that's joining us. I'm not quite sure. I heard a little or a beep. So if you are just joining us, please make sure again that your camera is off and make sure that your audio is on mute. Okay. Good morning to whomever is joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, because I cannot see you. So please make sure
Oh,
that yes, please make sure that your camera is off and make sure that your audio is on mute. And we're going to have discussions momentarily. All right. So, scientists make observations using the five senses. Okay, they then connect their observations to their prior knowledge and the new information they've gathered. So, again, that is what all inferences are. You are simply just making an observation. So, you're looking at something, you're observing it, you're taking your notes, You're writing down, jotting down pieces of information, and you are using what you already know to come up with a conclusion. Scientists then make an inference based on their observations to explain what they have observed. So this is where the evidence-based information comes in. Okay, so it's very important that you make sure that when you make inferences as it relates to science, that you make observations first, and then you can apply your inferences to those. Now, this is also very important. This inference is not just a guess because they have used their observations to form the explanation. So it's not a hypothesis. So let's be clear. A hypothesis is basically like an educated guess. You are guessing what may happen based on a scientific experiment. But an inference is different than that. Okay, so an inference is not a guess. It is you are drawing a conclusion. Okay, so as we continue on with our science section, we are going to jump more into the scientific method. Okay, many times this inference will then lead to more testing and making more observations. So remember, scientists do this every single day. Okay, it is a part of their job. So, excuse me. Okay. And again, this is just a reminder. This video is being recorded. So please make sure again that your cameras are off and that your audio is on mute. So that way we can cancel out any background noise. Okay. All right. So now let's look into observation versus inference. Okay. So again, an observation is simply what that is. You're just observing it and you're using the five senses. Um, you're using the five senses. And for an example, it says the plant is extremely wilted. That is something that you can see. That is something that you can feel. I wouldn't recommend you to taste it, and I honestly wouldn't recommend you to smell it, so to speak. But you are making observations based on using your five senses. Okay. The next observation is the car stopped running. Okay. So that is something that you can see. If you are driving and all of a sudden your car stops, that's something that you can feel. Again, I would not recommend that you taste it because I don't think you want to do that. But that's something that you can also hear if you've ever, once again, if you ever would started to drive and you hear something wrong with your car, that's an observation. But the observation leads to the inference. Okay, so as you can see here, the inference says that plant is extremely wilted due to a lack of water. So inferences, again, use observations to come up with a conclusion. Okay, the car stopped running because it was out of gas. That's so in essence, inferences can also be a review of text structures. So if you're listening to this while you're in the virtual class or the playback, I want you to think about what kind of text structure are used with number one, the plant is extremely wilted due to a lack of water, and the car stopped running because it was out of gas. I just want you to think about it, and we'll come back and talk about it momentarily. All right. Here are some more examples. Okay. So, number one says, this is the first observation, and this is technically the like another example. The grass on the school's front lawn is wet. So that is an observation. If you were walking past the school, you could see that. If you're walking in the grass, you can feel that. You can see it, you can feel it. I don't think you can hear it. I don't think you can taste it either. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend that. But nonetheless, you are using your five senses when you are making observations. And it says possible inferences that can come from that. It rained. The sprinkler was on. There is dew on the grass from the morning, as we know, like the dew in the morning, gently rest upon my heart. That is a song, a praise and worship song, if you're into that kind of thing. And a dog urinated on the grass. Okay, so all of these inferences could possibly explain why the grass is wet. Again, inferences can go into text structures. If you are watching this as a playback and you missed the video on text structures, again, I encourage you and I implore you, please go and watch the playback videos. I have a special playlist for all of the videos for last week that we did when we were on the other virtual platform, Zoom. So please make sure that you watch those videos so that way you can get caught up. All right. Inferences are based on prior experiences. We all have seen rain, sprinklers, morning dew, and dogs going to the bathroom, all on grass. So, again, this could be a reason or explanation why the grass is wet. Okay. All right. So, I am going to take it off of screen share as of right now because I need to see who is all in class because I want to make sure that I give them their proper credit. So hold on one moment and I am going to return back to this screen because we have an assignment that goes along with this. Okay. Oh, all right. So I have two students joining me. Thank you, Ms. Hong, and thank you, Ms. Ha, for joining me this morning. I really do appreciate you both. Do you all have any questions so far over inferences? You can take your mics off or take yourselves off of mute, but still leave your cameras off. Oh. Well, I guess they say no news is good news, right? So, with all that being said, I am going to go back to the oh, okay. Okay, so with all that being said, I am going to go back to the screen share because there is an assignment that what I would like for us to, that I would like for you all to work on. Okay? So I'm going to go to present now. And I'm still learning the functionalities of Google Meets, the Google Meets platform. It is almost the same as Zoom. The only difference is with the other virtual platform, I could literally see myself talking to you, and that would help me stay on point of looking at the camera. However, because this is Google Meets and the platform is different, I can't see myself. So it's just a little different, but so far, so good. Okay. Okay. And it says you are presenting your screen. And now I'm going to pull this up. So hopefully, Ms. Hong and Ms. Ha, you all can see the screen. Okay. All right. So we are going to go a step further with making inferences using science or in science rather. I want you to write 3 observations, and for anyone that's watching, before I go further, and you all can read what the assignment is, but before I go further, I like to take real world issues and things that are going on in our world today, and I like to apply them to the classroom. So again, if I was in my classroom physically, this would be a topic of discussion. And so now I'm just simply going to take that and I'm going to use it here. So I want you to write 3 observations about, and I call it Auntie Rona and Uncle Virus. I'm talking about the pandemic that is happening right now. Okay. And let us try to make some inferences based on your observations. Okay. So you have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to complete this activity. Okay. So what I want us to do, I want us to come up with 3 observations, things that you have seen, things that you have heard, things that you may know, or well, not so much as know, but I want you to write 3 observations about the coronavirus. Okay. I have to be very careful with using that particular word. Some words are not YouTube friendly. So I want to be mindful of that. So that's why I'm calling this particular pandemic Auntie Rona and Uncle Virus. Okay. For anybody that's watching the playback, that's what I call this pandemic that is happening. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to ah, I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a moment and I'm going to bring it back. But I'm going to give you all 5 minutes to work on writing down 3 observations or things that you've noticed since the beginning of this pandemic, or maybe even before the pandemic. Okay, things that you've seen on the news, things that you've talked about with your family, things that you've heard as it relates to the pandemic. So again, I'm going to give you all 5 minutes to come up with some observations, and we are going to have a discussion about it. Remember, let us keep this conversation respectful. And I know that we are going to do that because all of the conversations that we have in my class are pretty informative and they are very respectful. So for that, I really do appreciate my class for that. Okay, so I'm going to stop the screen sharing for a quick second. Okay, and I am going to cut my camera off for a moment and I'll be right back in 5 minutes and I'm going to pull up the screen share again. Okay, so you have 5 minutes. Okay. So you can take yourselves off of mute for a quick moment. I just want to know how far along you all are with the assignment. Do I have anyone that's still working on their observations? Stop the screen share for a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, forgot to turn that this way. Okay, all right. So Miss Hong, can you take yourself off of mute? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. How are you coming along with the assignment? Do you understand what you're supposed to be doing, or do you need some help?
I can understand.
Oh, okay. Well, what we're supposed to be doing is, well, as a matter of fact, we'll go ahead and talk about it now. Okay, so Miss Ha, you can go ahead and take your mic off as well, or take yourself off of mute, because we're going to talk about um, the pandemic that is going on right now. Okay. Okay. So, Miss Hong, I have a question for you. Based on what you know about the pandemic, what were your observations, or what did you notice about the pandemic? Did you notice a lot of people were getting sick? Did you notice a lot of people were missing work? Did you notice a lot of people not feeling well? Tell me what your observations were when you first heard about the pandemic.
About the coronavirus,
Yes.
uh, I know coronavirus come from China. It's
Okay.
it's very dangerous. Many people dies. Um, Many companies have to close to help prevent spread out of virus. Uh,
Yes. Yes, that is excellent. A lot of people had to, close down their companies. A lot of people had to, unfortunately, they can't work anymore because of this pandemic, and it's very, very sad.
yes.
Okay.
Um,
So let me see. So, how does that make you feel?
it's terrible. I scared.
Oh,
I
you're
cannot go out to buy something because I scared I can sick and
yes.
my it's dangerous for my baby, my parent and my husband. Uh,
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know you had a baby. Oh, I like babies.
oh, thank
Oh,
you.
oh. Well, yes, and you're absolutely right. It is a very scary time right now because of
Yes,
what is happening with the pandemic. I mean, we cannot go outside. We cannot, do the normal things that we used to do. And so this big change is really made us put things in a different perspective. Would you agree?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
Oh, yes. So basically, this has put the pandemic has put a lot of us in a real difficult situation. And so it has to make us change the way that we think about things. Would you agree?
Uh, I'm.
Well, no, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is what Miss Hampton is saying. Before all of this happened, we could go outside, we can go to the store, we can go
Mhm.
to McDonald's to get something to eat, we can go to the park. We could do all of those things before, right?
I'm just don't understand this question. I'm sorry. I can read when you write something. I can read. I can understand, but my listening is not good.
Oh, oh, well, okay. So this is what I'll do. I'll put the question. So how about we do this? Is it okay if I just type everything that I'm saying so that way you can see it?
Yeah, but
Okay, well that will work out perfect. No problem. And
I'm
again, I
sorry.
really no, do not apologize. I really just appreciate you for just still coming to class. And I know this is again different. And I know that this is it can be a little challenging, but again, I really appreciate you coming to class. I really, really do. It really makes me feel good. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the screen share and I'm just going to type out everything that I'm saying so that way you can understand it better, okay?
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. So I'm going to go to a new page. Okay. And I am going to pick another color for the background. Let's see here. La la la. I think I already have that color, but I'll go with this color. A nice springtime color. That's very pretty. Okay. And then my big floating toolbar here. I can see it now. I'm very happy about that. Okay. So this is what I am saying. Oh, okay. So Miss Hong, can you read everything that I just typed out?
Yes.
Okay. So okay, let me all right, let me go back here. Okay. I'll keep it in white so that way you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to just read it out loud. So what I typed was before the pandemic, we had the freedom and the luxury of going outside, going to the store, and doing whatever we wanted to do. Now that the pandemic is here, we all are forced to stay in the house and we have to keep ourselves safe. Not only ourselves, but our families as well. This is a very challenging time for everyone because we cannot go and check on our older family members the way that we could before. We also cannot do the things that we used to do anymore. It is very sad, and some people are afraid of what could happen next.
Mhm.
So, what do you think could happen next if we are not practicing social distancing and if we are not washing our hands and if we are not staying at home? What do you think could happen?
Or um, if I think if you stay home and keep safe for everyone, I think the coronavirus will um I think everything come back like before. If the
Yes,
people trust in the government,
yes. I definitely agree. I feel that if people would practice social distancing and wash their hands and stay at home, then I
mhm,
think I agree. I believe the pandemic will go away.
yes, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. So let me ask you, well, let me type this question for you. So I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to put in another page and I'm going to type this following question. Oh, it went away. Okay. So Ms. Hong, I want you to answer that question. Do you think that we will ever go back to normal?
Yes, I think uh,
Okay.
because I see the people sick degree is not increase. So I think the government can control this virus.
Oh, okay. That's excellent. So you have just made an inference. So that was the whole point of this this exercise. So thank you. The question was presented, do you think that we will ever get back to normal? You said yes because the government has the power to control or they can control this pandemic. But we have to do our part and we have to stay inside and practice social distancing and follow the rules. So that was an excellent answer.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Let me see. Oh, well, here is another question. I can't type. Okay. So the question says, how long do you think the pandemic is going to last? Some people think that it will be here until July or August. Some other Some other people think that it will be here all year long and it will never go away. What do you think? Do you think it will be here for a very long time, or will it go away by the end of August?
Oh no, I think it will be here until just maybe July or August, maybe soon sooner.
Yes. So,
Um,
okay.
because I in the past there are many uh I don't know. Many people say, but we uh I can remember the words.
Oh, I think I know what you're saying.
But
You're saying that before they had it was other um viruses and other things that kind of happened like this pandemic, but we all um
we can control and we pass we over it.
yes, so
Yeah.
we all passed it. Yes, I agree. So I get what you're saying. So what you're saying is we have had certain things like this happen, such as the Zika virus, the Ebola
Yeah,
virus.
yeah.
It was SARS at one point, and it was another one. I can't remember what the other one was called, but there have been. Oh, and well, going back even in the I think the 1900s, the early 1900s, they had this disease called the Spanish flu, and the
Yes.
Spanish, yes, and the Spanish flu was sort of kind of like what we're dealing with now. But that happened almost or over 100 years ago. So I do agree. I think that we are going to get over this. I do believe that we will get past the this pandemic. I think that hopefully it will go away by August because my birthday is in September and I want to go and celebrate. So I really
Oh.
hope I really, really hope that this pandemic has died down and it has gone away, and that everyone will still continuously be safe, and that everyone will be careful because I really want to go out and celebrate my birthday. So,
So you know that's my birthday in April.
oh, when is your birthday?
17,
Oh, well, happy belated
17 April.
birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, and oh
Oh,
wow. So
I
what is
cannot do something, do anything. I just stay home.
I know, and that's just so terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, who knew that such a disgusting, nasty sickness would cause all of this trouble? It's just terrible. Oh my gosh. Well, again, Miss Hong, happy birthday. And I hope that you are blessed with many, many more. And the main thing is that you were with your family. Even though you couldn't go out and celebrate, the main thing or the important thing is that you were able to spend it with your husband and your parents and your baby, or just, whomever you may live with or whomever may live with you. So I'm very happy that you are still here with us, and I'm very happy that you were here to see another birthday. So that is definitely a blessing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
If I knew how to say happy birthday in Vietnamese, I would, but I don't know how to say it.
Oh,
But I will
chúc
learn
mừng
it.
sinh nhật.
Okay, yeah, you okay. You say that again?
Chúc mừng sinh nhật. It's
Okay.
Vietnamese.
Yeah, okay. Chung Mong Sing. Yeah, I missed that
Sinh
last.
nhật.
Sing. Yeah.
Oh, you can do it.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. See, I love learning new languages, and I love learning. I just love to learn new stuff, period. So I'm going to have to write that down, but I have to know how to spell it first. So I'll Google that at another time. But again, I hope you had a wonderful and a happy birthday. And I'm just so grateful that you and Miss Ha, that you all came to class, and class is actually almost over with. So we're actually going to wrap this up in about another 5 minutes. So I just wanted to review very, very quickly, um, all the things that we went over for the people that will be watching this as a playback. So again, Miss Hong, thank you so much for your feedback and for your participation. You can go ahead and put your mic back on mute, because I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and put a pretty little bow on it, so that way you all can go ahead and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Okay, but don't leave. Don't leave just yet. So don't leave just yet. But you can put yourself back on mute, and I'm going to just do a quick recap of everything that we did and give the assignment, and that's going to be that. So,
Okay.
ah, okay. So, for the people that's watching the playback, we have discussed today, and I'm going to go over very quickly. We have discussed how to use inferences during and in science and with observations. Okay, so remember, an observation is something that you see or hear or touch or taste or feel. Anything having to do with the five senses, you are using, you're making an observation. Observations lead to inferences. So observations and inferences, they are mutually inclusive of one another, meaning that they go together. And in this first slide that you see here, as a quick recap, mutually exclusive means that they are separate topics and they have nothing to do with each other. Okay, so as an example again, if you've ever had a conversation with someone and they bring in another topic along with the conversation, and the two do not go together, you can simply say those two topics are mutually exclusive to one another. They have nothing to do with each other. They are totally separate. Okay. So making observations lead to inferences. Okay. And remember, an inference is nothing more than drawing a conclusion based on information that you already know and what is being presented to you. Okay. Next, we are going to review, how do scientists use inferences? So I'm going to let you all go ahead and read that. I will not reread that. Um, but that is how scientists use inferences. So again, we can take the English or the reading or language arts concepts, such as inferences, main idea, figurative language, text structures, author's point of view, author's purpose. We can take those things and we can apply them to our science and our social studies. Okay. So, again, last week we talked about inferences with social studies, using different political cartoons and different comic strips. Please make sure you watch the playback on that, so that way you can have a better understanding of how you can apply inferences to social studies. Okay. Next, this is a quick recap of observation versus inference as an example. And we discussed, if you read the inferences, they deal with a particular text structure. And I want you to tell me what text structure is being presented here in the inferences. I will give you a clue. So that is your clue. Okay. So that's all I will say. Inferences can also be led to text structures. Again, if you missed that video is in the playback as well. So please make sure again that you are watching the playback videos, because moving forward, Everything is going to be layered. Okay, so it's very important again that we have that groundwork and we have that foundation set. Okay. La, 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 la. Okay. So again, here's another example of how observations can lead to inferences. It says the grass on the school's front lawn is wet. This is something that you can see. This is something that you can feel. I don't think you can hear it, so to speak, and you certainly cannot taste it, but you can touch it. Okay, so remember, observations deal with the five senses, and these are some possible inferences. Okay, possible inferences that can lead to a conclusion. Okay, so that's one, that's one, that's one, and that is one. Okay, so I'll let you all go ahead and look at this and read it on the playback. Okay, so that way you can have a better understanding of how observations and inferences work. And here is your assignment for anyone that is watching the playback. Uh-oh. Oops. This is your assignment for anyone that is watching the playback. Okay. I want you to write 3 observations about Auntie Rona and Uncle Virus. Remember, I don't like saying that C word because it's just, so I would just rather say Auntie Rona and Uncle Virus or the pandemic because that is what we are dealing with right now. Okay. And it says you have 5 minutes to complete the activity. If you are one of my students and you are watching this playback, I want you to email me this. And once you email me this, you will be able to get your credit for this virtual class. If you do not complete this assignment, you do not get credit. So please make sure that you are doing these assignments, and please make sure that you are turning them in, because this is the only surefire way that you will be able to receive virtual class credit. Okay. Okay. And also, what were some of the takeaways from this lesson? So if you are watching the playback, this is also a part of your assignment. I want you to come up with 5 things that you learned today as it relates to observations and inferences. Okay. All right. So, do we have any questions about today's lesson? How do we feel about today's lesson? Well, again, I guess no news is good news. So I hope Ms. Ha and Ms. Hong, I hope you all enjoyed the lesson today. Please feel free to watch the playback if there is something that you still didn't understand, or if there's something that you missed, or if there's something that you just want to be sure that you understood. I will be posting this video, and that was my timer going off. I will be posting this video hopefully by 5 o'clock today. But if not, it will be up. It will be up later on today. So please make sure that you all have subscribed to my channel and make sure that you are watching the playbacks. And I really hope that they are helpful for you. Okay. So are there any final questions before I end the recording and class is dismissed? Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, Ms. Hong, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate your participation and your feedback as well. And again, I'm so happy that you had a wonderful birthday, and I hope that you are blessed with many, 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 many more.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're very, very welcome. And Miss Ha, I'm not quite sure if you can hear me or not, but thank you so much for coming to class. I really do appreciate you as well. And tomorrow we will start at 9 o'clock sharp. So please make sure that you are here. I will open up the classroom, the virtual classroom, probably 10 minutes early. So if you want to get in 10 minutes early, that's fine. But I will start recording at 9 o'clock. So remember, to all the people that's watching the playback video, or any of my students, tomorrow I will be starting class at 9 o'clock sharp. Make sure that your cameras are off. Make sure that your audio is muted as well. And we're gonna still, we're gonna make it, and we're gonna push through as we always do. So again, thank you all so very much. Miss Hampton appreciates each of you. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And until tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I will see you all tomorrow.
See you and have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.